to start this video super frank with you guys. Last year was my first year teaching as like a teacher. Of course, I've been like a para-pro and stuff like that, but I walked into my classroom the first time I saw it and it was full of junk. I think the guy before me was just fired, to be honest. There was no smart board, no working projector, no computer, no Elmo. All I had was like an expo marker and a dry erase board that was like covered in like garbage and stickers. I threw in some like mini stories throughout this video to kind of share some of my experiences with you guys. But seriously, between the combination of like no computer, no Elmo, no projector, like literally nothing, and the behaviors that I saw the first 9 weeks of school, I'm amazed I stuck it through. But I'm so grateful I did. I'm literally so grateful I did. I ended that school year, but I had an all black teacher, like lab style desk, and my kids had written all over how much they loved me and how much they missed me, which is literally so sweet. And so like that was just really proof of my pudding that I feel like I did my first year in the best way that I possibly could. So today's video is all about me sharing kind of how I had some of those successes. A first year teacher. I'm a first year teacher in the wonderful state. Oh my God, no, I'm not. Sorry, you guys. I've drank so much coffee this morning. And so I'm a little just. But I am actually going to become a second year teacher this year. It is going to be my second year teaching ever. I'm so excited. I do teach in the wonderful state of Florida, like I said. My first year teaching, I taught at a Title I school in the second poorest county of all Florida. So my high school teaching experience was wild. This upcoming year, I'm going to be teaching somewhere totally different. Peep my last video if you don't know where yet. But I've been getting a bunch of DMs on my Instagram at Blissful Biologist, asking about like my advice for first year teachers, things you need to buy, any tips and tricks, stuff like that. So today I wanted to make a video going over all those things. I already made a video about like what to buy versus what not to buy during the school year, because that's when I felt like I was like the most in tune with what things I was actually using versus what I wasn't actually. It's super easy to fall into the trends of what you're seeing like teacher YouTubers buying and teacher Instagrammers buying. And of course it all looks so cute, but it's not always the most practical or things that you really need. And sometimes the things that I see a lot of the girls or guys advertising are quite expensive, and it's something that I literally never used. So if you want to check out my video as like a high school science teacher, excuse me, I will put the link in the description below, so you'll have that there. But today's video is gonna be all about kind of like my advice for first year teachers. I tried to pull my advice from like, obviously I taught at a Title I school where there's a lot of behavior issues, kids come from broken homes, stuff like that. So I think a lot of my advice is much more like behavior oriented, but I do think that's one of the most important things about becoming a first year teacher. So I made my little list on my iPad, so I'm gonna be reading it off of there just to give you guys my tips and tricks. The best, like truly and honestly, the best way to prepare for your first year teaching is watching similar teachers to you, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, and like kind of watching daily vlogs, because that gives me a really good idea of like just what's your average day like. I watch a lot of like teacher outfits, like what do people wear, and of course I watch behavior management and advice videos. So I truly believe that watching videos like this, if you're going to first grade, watching first grade like videos, if you're going to high school, watching high school like videos, I think that is one of the best ways to prepare, because you're getting real advice from people currently, like right now. You're not pulling it out of a textbook. So I pulled both from YouTube and from my mentor teacher, and it is far easier to start strict and get like nicer or easier as the year goes on versus starting pretty lenient and pretty nice and getting stricter. Once you have lost control of your class, whether you lose that control day one, whether you lose that control week one or month one, to be honest, it's nearly impossible to try and regain that control. So honestly, I start out a little bit meaner, a little bit stricter, very adamant about my rules. I wouldn't say mean's the right word, but I stuck to my gun. So like if I said, we will not do this, we ain't doing it. If the school says no charging cell phones in class, I didn't let kids charge cell phones. It didn't matter. So-and-so lets us charge in their room. You're the only teacher that doesn't, blah, blah, blah. I was like, don't care, stuck to it, because showing kids that you are gonna stick to the rules and like be very firm means they're not gonna kind of come and just always be like, but, trust me, it helped. Like, for instance, the very last 9 weeks of my school year, I told my mentor teacher, I'm like, this is literally the easiest thing ever. I came in with my lesson plans, we did my lessons plans, they were successful, and the day was over. And she's like, yeah, because you worked so hard to win that battle the first 9 weeks or the first semester, whatever. And she's like, and then you're golden. Now, when it comes to other behavior management things, there's two big things that I feel like are the most important when it comes to behavior management. Number one is I found that being a loving teacher, which of course is my natural personality to like love and give hugs and, you know, just be kind to my students. But I found that role took me so much farther with administration, with students, with substitutes, than my counterparts who were like cut and dry, black and white, drill sergeant-esque. They struggled so much more with behavior management and just in general getting things they needed from admin or custodians. So in my personal opinion, be kind and nice. You need to have your behavior management plan down, because day one, 8:01, my kids walk in, my very first day of school. I am so nervous. I don't know how much it showed. Probably a lot, to be honest. And my kids sat down and I wanted to play like a name game or like a get to know you, and I passed around these cards, and the cards had space for them to write their name, the adult they live with's name, and like the phone number, email to contact that adult. And then on the back we were playing like 2 truths and a lie or something, just to get to know the kids. Immediately one kid goes, I don't know anything about you, so why should I give you my information? So immediately kind of coming at me. And in that moment, if I were to have kind of like stuttered or faltered, that would have been a battle lost, day one, minute one, in front of 20 plus kids. You know how high schoolers are. They will run you over if they can. They ain't gonna, because you're gonna be strong. But immediately I defaulted to my behavior management plan and made it very clear, like, this is how like dealing with behaviors is gonna work in my classroom, and I was consistent with every single student moving forward. Consistency is key. I've watched so many teachers handle discipline in different ways based on like the type of student that they were, or the last name, or the family, you know, and kids pick up on that. They're not dumb, they're very aware. You can't discipline kids differently or like differentiate discipline unless it's of course like in a behavior plan or an IEP. You want to discipline your kids uniformly. Otherwise, the more you start differentiating punishment based on like favoritism or the kid's grades or this or that, the sooner the kids will start rebelling to your behavior management, because they're gonna be like, this isn't fair, why should I listen to it? So be consistent. I taught kids that were 14, 15, 16, kind of that age range. They just have a lot happening. There's a lot going on in their life. They have teen angst, they have drama, they have stuff at home, they have whatever. And of course that's all totally fine, but sometimes they say mean things to you and you have to learn not to take it personally. Kids will say many things that they truly do not mean. My first 9 weeks of being a teacher, I was told that I was ugly, I was called the B word, I was called an ugly bird, what else? I was told I was hated by every kid, I was told they were gonna get me fired, yada, yada, yada. Dramatic. Anytime a student says things like that, usually they're just projecting either their insecurities out onto you or, you know, something else is going on. Usually they don't truly mean that at you. I just tried, however I punished them, to be very just like calm, like, oh, that's not very nice. I had one of my students draw a picture of me, supposedly, sort of looked like me, and wrote ugly BB, like I don't even know everything it said, and he handed it to me, and I just looked at it, I was like, oh, that is not nice, and just like put it in the recycling. I found that just that moment of me just totally being like, whatever, made that behavior stop altogether. That was the very last time that I got something like that, or that was the last time the kids ever said something so mean towards me. But I mean, at number one, you just have to learn how to like truly let it roll off your back. When you get in your car at the end of the day, those names, those things they said, bye, leave it behind. Is you need to learn how to just be like cool, calm, and collected. The first thing a kid said to me that I was not cool and calm for was also on the first day of school. My kids walked in and we were playing that name game, and I was like, what's my name? And you know, most kids would be like, Miss Ely. And this kid goes, my future baby mama. And I was not expecting that. It's my first day as a teacher ever. I've just gone through 25 plus kids in each of my classes. It's 5th period. I'm tired and I'm like just floored. So that was kind of a situation where like my jaw dropped and he saw that he got attention from that. And that kid became so out of control for the entire semester. I actually requested to have him removed from my room because his attention-seeking behaviors became so out of hand that I couldn't rein them in, and it was affecting the learning environment of my other kids. But that is an important little side note that I hadn't talked about before is as a teacher, you do have rights. Whether you choose to join the union or not is totally your business. I don't care either way, that's your thing. But you also do have rights. So I went to my administration and said, this child is totally out of control. They said, nothing we can do about it. So that was like, I don't know, week 3. But I said something. I made a note, I put it in an email, so it was like official in writing, there it was. A month later, he did something else that was like totally crazy. I can't remember what it was. Oh, he tried to start a food fight in my room during a lab. Oh! So I sent another email. This child is totally out of control. Is there any way he can be switched into the other science teacher's room? No, nothing we can do. Finally, there was a semester tipping point where he was so atrocious, just horrific, like horrific to my subs, horrific to me, just total bully in my classroom. And I went to my administration and I said, I will not teach this child. He needs to be removed from my classroom. And they did take him out. But number one, it's important to know that like you do have that right to say something, whether or not they can take them out or not. Make a paper trail, make it aware, make it known that you are struggling with this, or make it known, whatever. Just make sure it's in an official email so you can like refer back to it later to be like, hey, look, I messaged on this day, and this day all about these behavior issues and y'all said don't worry about it. So that's the real tea about being a teacher. Document everything. Stress, whatever bad grade the kids got on their test, whatever awful thing is administrator said to you, just leave it at school and drive away from it. Be done. I remember back around Christmas time, my boyfriend said something to me and I was like totally floored when he said it. I was like, what is he talking about? He's like, I feel like you hate being a teacher. And I was just like, what? Like, this has been my favorite career path thus far. And it was because I was bringing home the stress of my like day-to-day job out, bringing it home and talking about it to him and just like venting and letting it all just come out like word vomit, much like my videos sometimes. And that like just was not healthy. It was making it so I was thinking about school literally 24/7. I would wake up, go to school, think about it, get home, stew about something in the car ride home, complain to him, dream about it, and start it all over again. No. You get in your car, drive to school, then you put on your teacher hat. When you're done, pull that teacher hat right off and go back to being yourself, because it is so easy to lose yourself in this type of profession, especially if you're doing social media, whether it's teacher Instagram or teacher YouTube, because you're still talking to school, still talking teacher stuff once you've left the school at the end of the day. So it's really important to leave that stuff behind. Teacher burnout is real. You will see a bunch of people posting memes about this and jokes about this. It's totally real. You do not want to get it. Teacher burnout is just basically any type of burnout you get. You become exhausted and you're just tired and you feel like you gave it your all for so long that you've worn yourself out. My number one trick to this was semester 1, I gave myself teacher burnout. I literally got sick for 2 straight months. And I was going to the doctor and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because my body was so exhausted from like all of this energy that I was just throwing into this profession that I was physically getting myself sick. So like it didn't matter what antibiotics they gave me. It didn't matter what like tests they did. Nothing was gonna come back because I was literally just sick from all the stress I was putting on myself. I was not a fun teacher those 2 months. I wasn't the best teacher I could be, even though I was putting so much time and effort into creating awesome content. I was not awesome because I was so tired and so sick. So kids like when their teachers are excited and engaged. If you're not excited or engaged about what you're teaching, they don't care. If you don't care, why would they care? So the amount of work you have to do is literally never over. Never, 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 never over. Done. Period. You can always add more. You can always do more. You manage your time very, very wisely. That is one of the most important things. But becoming a teacher is learning amazing time management, learning to leave your school stuff behind, like saying, I've accomplished X. I would have liked to accomplish Y, but don't bring Y home with you. unless like your job or life is on jeopardy, you can. But so what I told myself is once the semester turned over, at my end of the contract hours is when I left. I could get to school as early as I would like, because let's be real, I'm not gonna wake up that early. I'm not gonna wake up 2 hours or 3 hours early to get a bunch of work done, where I was staying 2 or 3 hours late past the time that school was over. So I said, if I need to do anything early, I can get to school early, but I'm leaving my school day at 3:30, and then whatever I didn't finish, I could work on Sunday for a little bit. And I found that was kind of like my best management plan for just number one, having better time management, because I got really focused on trying to get everything I had to get done in my allotted time and not kind of like scrolling on Instagram, grading some papers, watching the YouTube video, cleaning my classroom kind of leisurely. Like, no, it made me very efficient, and that is necessary. And this is kind of about shopping, so, which I love to do. I'm a big shopper. I love classroom supplies. I love decor items. I am definitely one of those. I love watching teacher hauls. My classroom haul will be coming next week, and don't worry, I've literally bought 2 things from the teacher Target dollar spot, so it's gonna be a lot of new things, which I'm super excited for. But, oh yes, but before you become a first year teacher and start spending all the money, I have 2 suggestions. The first one is kind of totally your choice. I was one of the teachers that created an Amazon wish list that had some items on it that I would have liked to purchase for my classroom. I ranged them anywhere from like $1 up to a new office chair. If you watched my vlog about me like giving a tour of my old classroom, cleaning up my old classroom, you know the chair story. So, and I just put that link up on my Facebook, and I said, if you guys would like, I would appreciate it. If not, that's fine. And I had not a lot of people buy me stuff, but I got clipboards, I got whiteboards, I got a chair, I got pencils. I mean, just things that made, honestly, a huge difference and that I didn't have to spend. I mean, probably I got about $300 worth of gifts, which was amazing, because as a first year teacher, I don't want to say you could easily blow $1,000, but you kind of could, like, actually, because you're decorating a whole room. But seriously, you could easily blow $1,000. So getting $300 in these gifts was amazing. If you are not an Amazon wishlist type of person, that's totally fine. I totally respect that decision. It was a decision I made, and I'm very grateful I did. But as like going into my second year, I don't know if I would necessarily put one out again, because I am more financially stable and have gone to do as some of like my girlfriends or sorority sisters have become teachers. I've seen them post their Amazon wish list, and I bought like one small thing off of it because I knew how much it helped me when I was becoming a first year teacher. So I'm like, I hope this is very helpful to them. Now, the next thing that's super helpful when it comes to shopping is talk to your principal before you start. So a lot of times you get hired at the beginning of the summer, the middle of the summer, and so you have all this time before the school year officially starts, and you're kind of wondering, seriously, pick up the phone, call your principal or text your principal, whatever you got to do, and just ask. When I got to my school, my administration's like, oh, you have $75 every year to like spend in your classroom, which was a huge help. Seriously, I know you want to buy things and go crazy and get excited, but seriously, don't buy any school supplies until you either A, talk to your administration, or B, get into your room and see what the previous teachers left behind. The teacher who was last in my room left so many sticky notes, and I bought so many sticky notes. So that's just one of those things. Just buy decor, buy whatever, buy like your personal things that you personally want to be a teacher, but make sure like the school supply stuff, you touch base with your administration and you check the classroom before you go crazy up. My very last piece of advice is it's really important to befriend those around you at your school. For me, this was like a very easy thing. I always saw this piece of advice on the internet or like on YouTube, but I never quite understood the magnitude of how great that advice was until I started teaching. Befriending those teachers around you. I was really close with my mentor teacher, and that helped me out so much. Like literally on a day that I was like feeling sick, I had multiple days during that like month or two where I told you about the stress sickness, where I was so sick, and she would literally just like kind of just walk by me like, oh, here, I made you a class set of this worksheet that you could give today. Like, how sweet is that? Or It's nice to have teacher friends that you can just vent with, and it's really important to be kind to those custodians because those custodians are the ones cleaning your room. All the advice I have for you guys about going into your first year, seriously feel free to DM me on my Instagram. It's Blissful Biology. I'm happy to answer any of you guys' questions about first year teacher advice or kind of what I think. I mean, I don't know everything, so take this with a grain of salt. But seriously, watch what I suggested versus what I did not suggest to buy for your very first year teaching. I think I wish I would have watched more videos like that, to be honest, before I started shopping, because I definitely bought several things that I'm like, I literally just wasted. I know one of the things I wasted 90 bucks on, so not blessed. But yeah, stay tuned for literally on the polar opposite of that, my teacher classroom haul for next year, because it's coming. Okay, you guys. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I always appreciate y'all so much. Literally, you guys, my boyfriend has to listen to me say it all the time. Oh my gosh, I got 100 views on this video. Because seriously, y'all mean so much to me. And like when people comment on things, I like always tell them like, oh my God, this is what so-and-so said. And it just like, it literally makes my day. So thank you guys, seriously. But hit like, hit subscribe, do what you gotta do. I'm going to turn this camera off and edit because it is literally Sunday and my videos go live on Monday, so